Hello, Mr. Boyd. My name's Rosanna.
Hello, nice to meet you. My name is Seth.
Nice to meet you. Alrighty. So why don't we start off with you telling me a little bit about yourself?
Well, as you know, my name is Seth Boyd. I am newly married. Just got married last September. And we have a mixed household. We have four beautiful children together. Three from my side, one from her side. Currently, I'm re-enrolled at Palm Beach Community College. This is after a 25-year hiatus. I've been out of school for the last 25 years, working in the business field. I am currently enrolled in the business school. I just obtained my associate's degree, and I am currently trying to get my bachelor's degree. Since going back to school, I've been carrying a 3.8 GPA, and have been doing extremely well for the last year or so. Before that, well, I also worked at Target. I worked as a logistical supervisor for the last 8 years. I learned many things from Target, including like RFID, logistics, dealt with many different aspects of the business as far as like planograms, as far as logistics. I've been a logistics supervisor for the last 8 years, so I've learned a lot of things as far as logistically speaking. I also learned many things as far as managerial. I learned how to talk one-on-one with people, communicate, give direction without there being any miscommunication. So yeah, that's me in a nutshell.
Okay. So why are you interested in this position?
Well, I enjoy logistics. So this is being in the logistics field. I really enjoy that, and I enjoy running a team. So being able to communicate with a team, interacting with a team, I really enjoy that. That's where my passion lies. I feel like I can get the most out of anybody. So if you put me in a room with a bunch of people that are underperforming, I feel like I can get the most out of you, and be able to actually draw whatever you have to put the most into your business. I also enjoy taking a process to the next level. Working at Target 8 years ago, took over a process that really wasn't doing really well. We were 302nd out of 310 stores in the region. Moved that position from 302nd in backroom location accuracy. We brought it all the way up to number 8. We were eight in the region. So really enjoy taking processes and taking it to the next level. I would say that that's probably the biggest takeaway that I have for that.
Okay. What would you say your greatest strengths and weaknesses are?
Well, strengths and weaknesses. I don't like weaknesses. Strengths and opportunities. I always say opportunities because I feel like an opportunity is something you can do to really, you can improve an opportunity. A weakness is something, it's weak. I prefer strengths and opportunities. Strengths, I would definitely say, is communication. Can communicate with anybody, talk to anybody, and I feel like I can get the most out of anybody. On the opposite side of that, my opportunity would definitely be the follow-up piece. I definitely enjoy talking one-on-one and communicating and making sure that they know what's going to happen. But once I tell you that, hey, I need you to do A, B, C, I expect A, B, C to get done. And when A, B, and C doesn't get done the way I want it to, I sometimes falter a little bit in actually, following up and making sure that one piece is complete. So I would say my opportunity would just be the follow-up piece.
Okay. So can you tell me about an accomplishment that you're proud of?
Yeah, actually, going back to school, like I said, after 25 years, one of the things that I had to overcome was my first semester. Um, I was in an Algebra 2 class, and the last time I took Algebra 1 was 1997. So it's been a while since I took Algebra 1. My first grade that I got in Algebra 2 was actually a 70. I got a C, a very low C. And a lot of that reason why is because I didn't know the fundamentals. I forgot the fundamentals. Use it or lose it. So I lost a lot of that fundamentals that the other students had to be able to do what I needed to do. What I did was I got tutoring. The school offered tutoring. I also got outside tutoring. I got caught up, and I got caught up at a very high rate because by the second test I got a 98 on the test, and I actually finished the class as the number one student in the class with a 98% for the class. So I had 105 on my test, so I got the extra credit as right as well. So I actually caught up and actually got ahead of a lot of my peers. So I would say that's one of the greatest accomplishments I've had in recent times.
What would you say, motivates you to do such good work?
Um, well, I'm a very competitive person, so my kids will tell you that. Anyone that knows me tells me how competitive I am, and my competitiveness drives me to excellence. I try to be the best at whatever I do. Just last semester, I actually had a finance professor talk to me about a paper that was due throughout the semester. So throughout the semester, there was five papers that were due, and each one of the papers, he said, we had to have a minimum of 4 pages per paper. And then at the end, we combine it all together, and we create a financial analysis for the company. So we had the different analysis pieces that made the overall financial analysis. He said we had to do at least 4 pages per, which is 20 pages. He also said that was mediocrity. He said, and I quote, "If you do 4 pages, that's you being mediocre." He said, "If you want to be excellent, you have to do at least 40 pages in the end, which is double as 8 pages." Well, at the end, my end results were 71 pages. 71 pages for my end result was actually 20 more than the next person that was there. So I actually did a 71-page report for my financial analysis. So I always take that excellence, and I think that is what drives me to be the best. I always strive to be the best, and that was the reason why I did 71 pages, to be the best.
Go above and beyond. Okay. So how would a former supervisor describe you?
Well, a former supervisor probably described me as being prepared. I always have a plan. When I get through the day, I like to be able to. When I get into my day, I always have a plan on what I need to have accomplished. So they would definitely describe me as being prepared. I think that my having a plan is great, but you also have to be able to course correct if that plan deviates. So if you are planning on it, 10 people doing one job or 3 jobs, and then 3 of them call out, well, then you have to kind of course correct to that. So I definitely think that that would be what a former boss would say about me.
Of course. Okay, I apologize. So what do you see yourself doing in the next 5 years?
Oh, in 5 years, I would say that I see myself helping to promote a major corporation into the next era of their life, next era of their financial life. I would definitely think that I can see myself, helping that company, just bringing that company to the forefront of their industry, and that's kind of where I see myself is helping to direct the company to the forefront of their industry.
Like taking them to the next step.
Taking them to the next level, yeah.
Okay, perfect. So do you plan on maybe going back to school or furthering your education?
So yeah, definitely. I definitely think that education is the key to success. So in my immediate plans is to obtain my bachelor's degree. Once I have attained my bachelor's degree, I want to go back and I want to continue going to get my MBA and then possibly even my doctorate. So I want to definitely take that education, and with that education, I want to be able to bring it to the company and be able to help the company see things that maybe current management doesn't see because they're not up to date on one thing or another. So I want to take that information that I get and help bring it to a company.
Of course, we love to see that. Okay. So tell me about the most difficult or frustrating individual that you have ever worked with, and how you approached, let's say, that situation.
So when I started at Target, I had a manager who actually criticized a lot of the decisions I made. It was my first managing position in a major corporation. So he criticized a lot of the decisions I made. instead of taking that to heart, what I did was I actually took the criticism that he had, used it constructively, helped my approach towards my employees, and actually it was a learning experience. It helped me to actually learn how to take myself to that next level. Without him, I probably wouldn't be the manager I am today.
Okay. Alright. Can you provide me with an example of when you had to go above and beyond the call of duty for a job?
Yeah, so during my time at Target, I also had a remodel position. So I was one of the remodel managers. We had actually three managers. One was dayside, and two worked overnight. So one of them worked overnight, and what he did was he just dealt with the construction people, the GC, the different contractors, the electricians, the plumbers, so forth and so on. My role was to deal with the actual Target team members. So we dealt with like the tearing products down, putting shelves up, making the planograms, resetting the planograms, taking product off shelves so they could move them around. The different shelves are it's a big process just moving shelving throughout the store. So my biggest thing was really my role was supposed to be just the Target team members. Well, the other manager that worked with me overnight, he actually had some family issues, and he actually ended up quitting the job. Rather than bringing another manager in on short notice, what they did was, because I knew the process already, I actually did both roles. So I worked as the Target representative, leader, and then I also worked with general contractors, different plumbers, all kinds of different people throughout, moving things around. We tore down Food Avenue, which is like a deli basically, and we put a liquor store in there. I mean, it was a total remodel of a store, and we tore it down and put it back up, and we actually finished 2 weeks early. We actually finished the process ahead of schedule, 2 weeks. So.
Wow. Okay. Can you tell me about a time when you use, let's say, written communication to convey an important point?
So yeah, I think the same time frame really. So because I was the only manager overnight, what I had to do is I had to communicate dayside. So most people don't work from 10 o'clock at night till 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock in the morning. Most people work during the day. So
For sure.
same thing with our store. Most of our employees work during the day. So what we would do is we would do A B C D E F G, and we wouldn't get to the next three things. So what I would have to do is I would have to communicate with everybody. I would have to email the dayside managers, tell them where they're at, what we were working on, where we left off, what they need them to do, and how I can get them to set us up for success at night. So I would actually communicate with them. I would communicate with the store director and the district manager, because I had to communicate to tell them, basically where we were and what we were doing and how we were proceeding. I had to communicate with both my AP, which is asset protections, AP supervisor, and then I had to communicate with his supervisor because there was some incidents that happened overnight, security-wise. So all that was done through emails, communications, back and forth. None of it was, obviously, I didn't call anybody at 2 in the morning and told them, hey, we're doing this. So all of that was done via email, via text message, mostly email, and that was the big communication piece for me.
Okay. Sounds like you even did some planning in there because you had to describe to them.
Yeah, definitely. We did a lot of planning actually. We had to plan out that entire the next day. So
Exactly.
being able to plan out that next day to have them be able to set us up for success was just that chain reaction. If we didn't get that done, there would be no success for the next thing, the next day, and the next day, and we would have and probably ended up being 2 weeks late instead of 2 weeks early, which is the average actually at Target right now. So.
Wow. Okay. So, what is the most creative thing you'd say you've ever done?
Well, creativity is definitely something that I enjoy doing, um, but I'm going to take this a different way. I don't think that I was able to express my creativity at Target or any of my previous employment. I would say that my most creative thing was actually my wedding. As I said, we just got married, and we had a Star Wars slash Alice in Wonderland wedding.
Mhm.
And it was just a lot of we planned everything from the tables to the decorations to the location. We worked all our finances out. We set up the whole themes, different themes for different areas, and I would say that's probably my most creative um, experience, at least over the last couple of years.
Okay. Could you describe your leadership style and provide an example of a situation where you successfully led a group?
Yeah, absolutely. So the overnight process would be where I would say the location that I actually had to help to lead a group. I would say that that would be my most impressive feat is actually being able to get done with everything I needed to get done with and get done early. I would have to say my approach was direct. I'm a very direct person. I tell you how it is, whether you like it or not. I tell you how it is, and that's kind of the way it is. It's I always listen and I'm compassionate and I understand people, and if they have different things going on, I can be compassionate about different things, but depending on the situation. But I'm a very direct person, and I feel like my leadership skills, come off as being that way.
Okay. Could you provide an example that demonstrates your ability to motivate others?
So I actually would say I have two things. So the remodel definitely was a lot of motivation. Being by myself, working that overnight, would definitely be something that I would say would you know deal with a lot of motivation. Um, but I'm going to take it a little differently, and I'm going to say that my time coaching actually motivated people the most. So there was a season where not too long ago that we won the championship. It was a little bit more competitive of a league. It was an older league, and the team that we were playing was undefeated, and to the point that we didn't feel most of my team didn't feel like we could beat them, and we got them in the championship game. Talked them through it. We talked about everything before the game. Hey, this is what we're doing. We're going to play light. We're going to, go out there and have fun. And I had kids that were mostly younger. They had mostly all 13-year-olds. I think they had like one 12-year-old and like all 13-year-olds. And we had basically our whole team was 11 and 12-year-olds. And just talking to them, encouragement, trying to put that out there, put that level of encouragement out there, and we actually beat them in the championship game, and we won the championship that year.
Wow. Okay. Could you describe a situation when you had many assignments or projects due, and at the same time, what steps did it take for you to finish them all?
Um, Logistics as a whole, Target as a whole, there is a million things that have to be done.
Yeah.
From RFID, which is radio frequency, to SIM, which is talking about like environmentally safe products. Of course, the incoming and outgoing of trucks are a huge thing. We got to be able to outload. We got to be able to inbound trucks. We have to be able to remove all the product from and get the shelves stocked. And then outgoing trucks, we had to actually reload with either cardboard or different things, whether it's metal, scrap metal that was being recycled, or plastic bags that were being recycled. We had to be able to load the trucks back up. So I would say that's probably my biggest thing for actually shuffling a bunch of things. And those levels are definitely there for that. I mean, the amount of product that we moved around to be able to make a successful program definitely warrants that.
Okay. Could you provide me with an example of when you had to make a difficult decision and how you approached it and what type of criteria did you use?
Well, so about a year ago, I actually left Target. We left so I could actually, further my schooling. Working overnight and going to school all day is a very, very, very difficult process, especially when you're working 10-hour shifts and then going to school for 8 hours. It doesn't leave a lot of time for
much of anything.
Anything.
Sounds like, yeah.
So I did make the decision. Sat down with my wife. We talked about our financials. We talked about where we were, what we could do, what we couldn't do. We made some cutbacks, and we actually made the decision to find different employment for myself. So I quit Target, and that was, a big step for us. So.
Okay. Okay. So what are your salary expectations? What are you looking for?
Well, I mean, I see the industrial average for the position that I'm applying for ranges between 70 and 85. I would think that I would be much closer to the ceiling than the floor with all my experience. I would definitely say that that's where I feel like I should be. But I'm sure that you have some idea of what you're willing to offer. What would you be willing to offer?
So right now we're gonna range from about 75,000 to about 85,000.
Okay, so that's very similar to where I was looking.
Okay, perfect. All right. So do you have any questions for me?
Yes, I certainly do. I actually have
Okay.
my paper here, my questions, and
Perfect.
I have my pen so I can write down the answers and see exactly what your answers are. First question: how would you describe your culture of the organization? How would you describe the culture here?
So the culture here, we work together as a team.
Mm-hmm.
We're very hands-on, so training is going to be definitely hands-on.
Awesome.
And definitely your colleagues are here to help you. You have management on floor as well, but we're very together and we work together. So I wouldn't say family-orientated, but we're very together. So you're going to have all your questions answered all the time.
Awesome. That's great. That's awesome.
Mhm.
That's awesome. The second question I have would be, what do you see as unique about your organization, and compared to all the other major competitors in the industry?
So I'd say the way that our insurance agency is completely different than any insurance agency you've probably ever worked for in the past. We're very new, so we're technology based, everything. It's nothing that you've ever worked for before. So it's not like there's very many competitors out there. We are very new, but we are very advanced. We have product developments on our team. We have a ton of IT that help us daily, so we're definitely more advanced than any agency.
Awesome. Okay. Okay. So for my position as a manager, what would be the typical assignments for the position?
So you definitely be, redirecting questions, helping agents on the floor, and then you would also be handling any emails, carrier relations, things of that nature.
Okay, great. As far as my position, as
Mhm.
far as the position I'm applying for, how does that fit into the overall organization of the company?
So our carrier relations are very important to us. It's the way that we're able to get our carriers and basically assign them to our insureds to those carriers. So our carrier reps constantly contact us, and they always need answers. They're not very pushy, but they do need them. I apologize. Sorry about that. Um, so they aren't very pushy, but they do demand answers because our agency logins constantly have to be updated and licensings constantly have to be updated. So that's something that you definitely have to do via written
Okay.
communication.
Okay, great. What would be the next step in the hiring process?
So if we were to continue the relationship, I'd give you a call back. I do say give me around 1 to 2 business days just to contact with other managers, discuss
Of
salaries,
course,
things
of
of that
course.
nature.
Okay, great. Um, may I have your business card?
Of course, of course. Let me find it for you and I'll give it to you right now.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank
Of
you for
course.
your time.
Alrighty, well, it's
You're
nice
amazing.
meeting you,
Thank
sir.
you. Thank you. Nice to meet you.
Nice meeting you.